Hey guys, how you doing? I'm HDSL. I write books and I write stories, and you can read my stuff over at hxdsl.com. But also, when I'm not doing that, when I'm doing other things, I would like to be good at art. It's something I'm interested in. I want to draw. I'm not good at it, but I enjoy doing it. I find it very relaxing, and because of that, I've ended up with an Apple Pencil and an iPad because I want to draw. Um, One of the things that I noticed when I started drawing was that all the tutorials come back. All the tutorials come back time and time again to Procreate. Procreate is the default tool on the iPad for digital art, or at least that's predominantly the tool that I see. To the point where I almost didn't even think about trying anything else. So when I got my nice iPad, I had a copy of Procreate from my previous iPad, which was less nice, and I started using Procreate, and I had a good time using Procreate. Procreate was absolutely fine to use. I drew this pizza guy in Procreate, and it was great. Uh, and let's go and make a new piece of art and show some Procreate. Now, I know this isn't news to anyone, but there will be some people out there that watch this channel from Linux and don't necessarily know anything about iPads, so this might be interesting for them. Hit the plus up here. I'm going to choose my preset, which is a 4000 by 4000 canvas in a P3 colours with a 300 DPI, 300 DPI screen thingy. Resolution, density, I don't know. And I'm just going to use this brush here. I'm going to make just a red line. And you go, here's a red line. Ooh, here's a red line. If I make a red line and I hold, it'll straighten off. Well, it'll auto shape it. So I make one that's more of a line. Boop, there's your line. If I put my finger on the screen, it moves by 15% increments. Let's draw a triangle. Stop there. Boop, there you go. There's a triangle. Bit of correction going on. Auto shaping. It's quite nice. Procreate's all right. My layers menu's up here, and I can add another layer. And let's make this layer. Let's put some blue stuff on this layer. I can just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. That's actually not that blue, is it? Hang on. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. And we can see we got the two layers there. This bar on the left here is the size of the brush. The bottom bar is the opacity of the brush. So boop, there you go. And then this button here brings up a menu, but I've got mine set. I've got the Apple Pencil Pro. If I squeeze the barrel, this comes up as well, which is nice because I can get to my favorite for brushes. So my favorite brush number one is Modern Inker. There's Modern Inker. Ooh, it's lovely. It's a downloaded brush I found on Etsy. And then the same brush again, but with loads of smoothing turned on. Ooh, there you go. Look at that. It's kind of like a flow smoothing. It's kind of cool. That's basically Procreate. That's everything. You've got brushes here now. All these brushes, and I'll use my cursor for this. So from here to here, these are the built-in brushes. These brushes are ones I found on Etsy quite cheap. And one of the ones I found Etsy quite cheap, one of my favourite brushes I found Etsy quite cheap, is this G&B halftone set, which is really cool because I just love vintage looking artwork. And this set here, let's use green this time so you can see that. This set here gives this lovely look for painting and giving that little magazine print style. Love it. It's really good. Another brush I really like. Again, let's probably just turn them layers off and give us a new layer. Another brush set I like here is these alcohol markers. Let's make this pink. Let's make this one pink, and you can see. Ooh, look at that. Look at a lovely texture we've got there. Love it. Love these brushes. I adore these brushes. I had a good time with these brushes. There's lots of these brushes I just really like to use. Procreate's got its limits though. It's got, if you take something off the canvas, it clips it. It has no gradient tool. You have to use multiple colors and Gaussian blur to make a gradient tool. It's got finite layer limits on your canvas. What else it do is weird. There's loads of things it does weird. Oh, you can't keep a window open. So if I click on this button here for layers and I can't move it around, and if I start drawing it goes, I can't keep that open. Same with the color wheel. I can keep the color wheel open. Wow, today I learned. So that's actually one gripe less, I guess. I just assumed I couldn't because I can't keep anything else open. That's cool though, but you definitely can't do that with the layers window, which is the infuriating one. Same with brushes here. You can't detach and keep your brushes open. So I select a brush, I start drawing, it closes. Not the end of the world, but things that kind of bug me. The big one, and this is the one that pisses me off to the level that I just can't form sentences, is see all this stuff in my gallery. This is not synced between my iPads. This is not synced. So I drew this cool pizza guy here, and it's not synced to my iPad mini. And yeah, and that's infuriating. Part of the reason for that is probably because different hardware has different limitations. This Pizza Guy uses a lot of, in fact, we can look at Pizza Guy. Pizza Guy uses a lot of layers, where those layers won't necessarily work properly on my iPad Mini, because my iPad Mini's got less memory, a slower processor, so potentially this image is just going to destroy my iPad Mini, which is fine. But I would prefer them to sync it just to say, put a little cross and say you can't load it on this device, or if you load this device, the performance is going to be rough. That's up to you. The other thing is, I would really like to be able to use gestures to move this bar up and down, and to move the opacity up and down, which is annoying. I like the squeeze gesture. The squeeze thing is really cool. I really like the squeeze gesture. I can double tap to select my eraser and double tap again to select my brush, which is nice. It's got, yeah, if I want to select canvas and stuff, I can do all my abilities, my effects and stuff here, my selection stuff here. Generally speaking, Procreate's not a bad program, but yeah, that lack of syncing, canvas cropping, finite limitations, and the fact that I can't keep windows open when I want annoys me. Procreate's $12.99. I think let's have a look at the website here. The website's Procreate is £12.99. You can see it. I'll point my cursor just here, $12.99. Procreate Dreams, their animation package. You can do animation in Procreate using layers as using layers as frames, but it's awful. And there's a phone version which does not have feature parity for £6. But still, like, Procreate as an ecosystem, I guess, is okay. The lack of syncing is bothersome, but whatever. But yeah, Procreate's the default, the de facto. If you're doing anything on the internet, people are going to tell you to use Procreate pretty much across the board if you're doing artwork. And it's fine. And as you can see, it's the thing I use the most because it works, and you can get the brushes off Etsy cheap. As I said, these brushes here, they're all off Etsy, and I've not spent more than a few quid in any of them really. But these brush sets have just been great. I really like this. I really like this the IGB brush set. It's got some really cool brush sets which I really like. Brushes I really like in there. I use a lot. It's probably the brushes I use the most overall, to be honest. It's really cool. However, there is another option. There's another program called Art Studio Pro. Now, this is Art Studio Pro. Art Studio Pro does sync your artwork between devices, which is amazing. And it just uses iCloud to do that. It's very straightforward. I'm going to hit plus here, and we're going to make a canvas of 4,000 by 4,000 pixels at 300 ppi, which is exactly the same as what I use in Procreate. Now, straight away, when you get in there, there's no layer limit at all. No layer limit whatsoever. It's absolutely fine. It's great. I probably need that brush to be a bit blacker. There you go. Ooh, there you go. No layer limits whatsoever. The auto shaping that Procreate does. Remember we talked about the auto shaping? Again, a little reminder if you're interested is, let's go across there. So if I draw a line, I draw something approximating a line, I wait, it pops into there. If I am drawing and I don't want that and I stop to think about my next stroke, all of a sudden I've got an auto shape, which is infuriating. Now, what I like about Art Studio Pro is that's toggleable. So if I toggle auto shape on, now I have the auto shape. This is probably the absolute worst brush for showing you this stuff, isn't it? Let's go to the Inking brush. Yeah, there we go. A bit darker, you can see a bit. So I'll give this line and I wait and nothing happens. But if I turn auto shape and I move the line, boop, all of a sudden things happen. And I can draw all over the place and then wait and boop, it'll fix it to something like a right angle shape. If I push the line button though, I can only draw lines, which is way more useful than you would think, especially when you're sketching out building and stuff. And again, I can do the same Procreate. I can put a finger on the screen and it sort of snaps a bit more to right angles a bit more, which is fine. All these settings are in options as well. You can move stuff about. And if you go back to auto, if you turn line on and turn it off again, it'll toggle auto shape on and off, as you can see at the top there. Up here, we do it up here. This menu across the top here is completely customizable, and if I push the three little dots, I can hit the three little dots again and all of a sudden add anything I want to that menu. You can see it's got a gradients, which is something Procreate doesn't have, which, to be honest, I think it's a bit mad that Procreate doesn't have gradients. It just strikes me as just weird. Yeah, it's just really weird. And I know there's a lot of artists that you don't need gradients, you can use Gaussian blurs, but just give me the damned option. It's just, I'm an adult. Just it seems weird. Seems really weird. There's some quick tools down the right, so it changes to some common color palettes as well when you do that, which is, you know, which is nice. It's right and customizable. If I am just drawing as normal though, so I'm drawing as normal, I can use 3 fingers and I can move up and down. Oh, I can use 3 fingers up and down to change the width of the brush, which is pretty cool. I can use 3 fingers left and right to change the opacity, or it's called flow in here. And I can't, so if I start by going up and down, I can't then move to flow. I have to then do it again and then go with flow. But that's a nice thing you can do. Anyway, I actually really like that. The next one, which I found absolutely mad. It's a fish now. Look, it's a fish shark. The other one I really like in here is if I open up this layers menu, I can select a new layer, and then when I start drawing, the layers menu goes away, which is great, right? However, if I do this and then I move the layers menu, a little dot appears. You can see the little dot just here, so I'll do that again. So I open the layers menu, right? There's no dot here. And then I start moving it around and the dot appears. Once the dot appears, it stays open, right? It stays open. Now, I didn't think you could do it with Procreate, but apparently the colors one will stay open, which is cool, right? Because you might want to be working on multiple things and it's just nice to have it open. Now, the thing that really blows your brain is that you also do that with the brushes. You can go back and the brushes stay open. It's really cool. The reason I don't use Art Studio Pro as much as I use Procreate, though, is just really all the tutorials. All the stuff you find on the internet about art, especially as a beginner, will be in Procreate, to the point where it's kind of like a little bit of translation needed to go from one application to the other. Also, those cheap brushes I talked about on Etsy, you won't find them for Art Studio Pro. Art Studio Pro will load up Photoshop brushes, but it doesn't always load them up exactly how you expect. They're not necessarily going to behave as you expect. And if you go on Etsy and type in brushes, most of your options are going to be Procreate. Or if you have to have Photoshop brushes, it's a secondary purchase. So you really want all your brushes purchased in one application. And unfortunately, I started too early with Procreate. I bought some brushes and I feel kind of locked in. I think I am going to migrate slowly over to Art Studio Pro though, just because it's just a nicer way of working. I also wonder if a lot of the people on the internet are younger than me, and the idea of having all these windows cluttering your screen just seems mad to them. Where to me, I'm like, great, I feel like I've actually got a proper application. They're like, why would you want that? So there might be an element of that there as well. Also, Art Studio Pro has effects layers as well, which is kind of interesting, which is something Procreate sort of fails to have, as well as a cool full screen mode. So yeah, there's Art Studio Pro. One of the things we should probably talk about as well, though, is Art Studio Pro pricing, because oh my gosh, I've lost. Where's it gone? Art Studio. Oh my gosh, there it is. Art Studio Pro. There we go. Art Studio Pro is more expensive than Procreate by quite a bit. So Procreate is $12.99 for a lifetime purchase. Art Studio Pro is in theory subscription based. It's $6.99 a year. However, the lifetime license is £30, which is what I did ultimately. Which means you go for a lot of years to justify that lifetime license, but still, I just don't like subscriptions, so I'll go on then. And it is a very good piece of software. It seems to be under active development. It seems to be reasonably popular, but like, no one's talking about it on the internet. There's very few tutorials about it, very few even comparison videos about it in Procreate. But I genuinely feel like overall, it's a better piece of software than Procreate for most people. That said, I can't help but say, even though I believe this, and I'm like, yeah, this is better, all my artwork seems to be in Procreate, which is weird. But I kind of feel like I'm just getting used to the weirdness of Procreate, which is just a weird thing to say. But yeah, if you are looking at getting into art, you can download Art Studio Pro for free and give it a go, see what you think of it. There aren't that many limitations, and it's an in-app purchase to get the subscriptions and stuff, and a lot of stuff you can just do for free. If I could just get all my Procreate brushes and shift and wang them over to Art Studio Pro, I'd probably just migrate now, but I don't want to have to rebuy all my brushes, which is weird. But it's a really good application, and you can just click the button down here and you've always got access to things like your smoothing, you've always got access to stuff. But according to all the internet, according to all the videos I see, according to all the things people say on the internet, and all the comparisons and all the professional artists who just do art streams, It seems to come down to Procreate or Adobe Fresco, and Art Studio Pro, while it's really good, doesn't seem to be in the running. So maybe there's reasons. Have you tried it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comments what you think. And let me know if you'd like some more iPad thoughts videos. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, everyone.